This is not a normal coding demo. The post is showing Codex app and GPT 5.5 moving into the messy part of work: spreadsheets, files, browser testing, and review loops. The local angle matters too. This workflow can fit the current setup. It can work with all coding agents, and with a local orchestrator, the execution can stay on your paired machine instead of becoming another cloud-only black box. Nick Baumann's post says that everyone at OpenAI seems to be using Codex app and GPT 5.5 for everything now, then calls out spreadsheets as example one. The quote underneath is from Sarah Sachs at Notion, who says GPT 5.5 is faster, uses fewer tokens, and scores slightly higher than Opus 4.7 on Notion's knowledge work benchmark. The stronger source is OpenAI's own developer post from the day before. It says Codex now generates higher quality spreadsheets, slide decks, and documents with GPT 5.5 in Microsoft Office and Google Drive, and that a new file viewer makes it faster to review, revise, and iterate. So the real topic is not just coding. It is Codex as a general work agent with files and applications in the loop. The silent video starts with a plain prompt: what should we work on in spreadsheets? The user asks Codex to act as an investment banking analyst and build a waterfall analysis for a startup considering a Series C round. The prompt is dense. It mentions an attached template, assumptions in column G, investor names, fund ownership, warrants, liquidation preferences, conversion prices, common diluted shares, and strike prices. Then Codex opens the workbook. The visible file is VC returns waterfall input.xlsx. It does not immediately hallucinate a finished answer. It says it will inspect the spreadsheet structure first, map the assumptions into the model, modify the workbook directly, and sanity check the formulas. The spreadsheet itself is real enough to matter. You can see Series B, Series A, seed, founder preferred stock, common stock, options, and warrants. A few seconds later, the agent says the cap table assumptions are filled in, but the waterfall body is mostly row labels. It starts reconstructing liquidation preference, conversion logic, investor summaries, share class proceeds, and MOM outputs. The end state is the key proof. Codex produces a completed workbook named VC Returns Waterfall Completed.xlsx. It attaches the file, shows it in the viewer, and explains that it validated the workbook structure and formulas with OpenPixel because LibreOffice was not locally available. That limitation is important. This is visual proof of a workflow, not an independent audit of the resulting finance model. OpenAI's GPT 5.5 launch page gives the bigger frame. OpenAI says the gains are strongest in agentic coding, computer use, knowledge work, and early scientific research. It also says GPT 5.5 can carry more of the work itself, plan across messy tasks, use tools, check its work, and keep going. The benchmark table is worth keeping grounded. OpenAI lists GPT 5.5 at 82.7% on Terminal Bench 2.0, 84.9% on GDeepFile wins or ties, and 78.7% on OS World Verified. In the Knowledge Work section, OpenAI says Codex with GPT 5.5 is better than GPT 5.4 at generating documents, spreadsheets, and slide presentations. It also claims more than 85% of OpenAI uses Codex every week across engineering, finance, communications, marketing, data science, and product management. That is why this spreadsheet clip matters. It is a tiny public window into the direction OpenAI is pushing: less chat-only output, more agents that handle files, software, and review loops. The companion OpenAI Devs clip shows the same pattern in the browser. Codex is asked to test a customer onboarding flow. The interface shows a local home setup app running from a file path on the developer's machine. The task list is specific. Click through the current onboarding flow, inspect the review screen, patch missing review details, and verify the fixed flow in the browser. In the clip, Codex clicks through a 4-step flow. It chooses a home type, moves through priorities and scheduling, and reaches the final review screen. The final screen includes a checklist called Before We Arrive, with building access instructions, Wi-Fi details, and adult presence during the install window. The agent reports that the review screen is visible before submission, checks the workspace, runs Git status, and marks all 4 tasks complete. That is the more general pattern behind the spreadsheet example. The agent sees a real interface, acts on it, checks the output, then makes or verifies changes. It is still early, and the clips are carefully selected, but the loop is clear. The docs show how OpenAI wants this to become repeatable. Codex is described as OpenAI's coding agent, available through the app, CLI, IDE extension, cloud surfaces, and integrations. The skills docs are the more interesting piece. Skills package task-specific instructions, resources, and optional scripts so Codex can follow a workflow reliably. They're available in the Codex CLI, IDE extension, and Codex app. That matters because file work is not just about a larger context window. A spreadsheet task needs knowledge about the workbook, formulas, validation, and the acceptable output format. A browser testing task needs steps, checks, selectors, and review criteria. Skills turn those recurring patterns into reusable workflows. Pair that with file viewers and app surfaces, and Codex starts looking less like a single chat box and more like a workbench for repeatable agent jobs. Quick local bridge insert. Conductor.com shows the same pattern outside a hosted app. Claude Code, Codex, Gemini, and OpenCode can run through the current setup, while execution stays fully local on the paired machine. Repo. github.com/tyrannik06/conductor-oss. So the takeaway is not that one 33-second clip proves every spreadsheet will be perfect. It does not. The real takeaway is direction. OpenAI is showing Codex and GPT-5.5 as an agent for files, browsers, documents, spreadsheets, and review loops. If you want the local version of that operating model, the same pattern can work with all coding agents, with the current setup, and with execution staying on your own machine. Sources are the Nick post, OpenAI Devs, OpenAI's GPT-5.5 page, Codex docs, OpenAI/skills, Conductor.com, and the Conductor OSS repo.